Welcome to Daily Rates Live with the Mortgage Calculator. Today we're going to go through some live mortgage rates and then we're going to talk about low credit score loan options. Give us just a minute here to go live on all the different platforms. We got the chat up on the screen there. Feel free to drop a comment there in the chat as you tune in. I see some comments already coming in the chat there. Good morning, everyone. Appreciate it. All right. It looks like we're live on all the different platforms, so we'll go ahead and get it started here. We'll take the chat off the screen for now, but go ahead and keep dropping comments there in the chat. You can drop any questions you have in the chat as well. So welcome everyone. My name is Kyle Hershey. I'm the COO of the Mortgage Calculator, joined here by our president, Nick Hershey, and our sales manager, Jose Gonzalez. We are a lender that specializes in non-QM loans. And what we do every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern on the show is go through our live mortgage rates. Then we do a deep dive into a different loan topic. And today's topic is low credit score loans. So I'm sure Jose has some cool tricks up his sleeve to talk about some low credit score options here. But before we do that, we'll do what we do every morning, which is pull up the rates. So Nick, if you're ready, let's go ahead and pull up today's pricing and see what it's looking like.
All right. Switch up the screens here. Get it ready. All right. So before I pull it up, let me go through the speech here. We're going to check out the rates for today. It is May 21st, just after 11 a.m. Eastern. So all of our standard programs are live. We will set up a scenario, the same exact scenario to compare across all the programs. We will set the purchase price to $500,000, loan amount to $400,000. That represents an 80% loan to value, 20% down payment. Set everything to a 760 FICO for the estimated credit score, and a estimated 40% debt to income ratio here for all the quotes that require DTI. For the DSCR options, we will use a value of 1.5, which we'll explain a little bit more when we get there. If you'd like a full breakdown of all the itemized fees that go into the APR, please meet up with one of our team members. We have over 300 loan officers to help you out. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. And we'll look at the rates. So typically the first option we want to check out for most customers looking for a primary home would be a 30-year fixed conventional. And the rates today, same as yesterday, almost exactly 6.624 rate, APR 6.953. Now, if for any reason our customer does not qualify for a standard conventional program, typically the next option we want to look at is an FHA option, which allows more leniency on credit issues, as well as a higher debt to income ratio. But again, for this demo, we set everything exactly the same. So FHA with the exact scenario comes in at 5.75 rate, and the final APR comes in at 6.736, including all the upfront and yearly mortgage insurance that is required for FHA. And if we compare across these programs, if our customer qualifies for both, FHA might be a touch cheaper. So definitely a good option there. And our customers that need to use it, FHA is definitely a good option. It's actually cheaper or the same as conventional in most examples. And next up here is for our eligible veterans and active service members. If you're eligible for VA, these are amazing options. This did adjust down just a touch, it looks like, from the other day. Rates as low as 5.99, APR 6.289. So great option for our vets. Notice it is the lowest APR. So if our veterans or active service members are eligible, always recommend the VA programs. They typically have the most benefit. And if we scroll down a little bit here, the last agency government option is our USDA option. That's only for properties in a USDA eligible area, typically corresponds to rural properties. If you're looking in those areas, this option is great, 5.875 rate, and the final APR of 6.641. So notice it's a touch cheaper than FHA. So most customers looking in those areas may be comparing it to an FHA option, which were a touch cheaper. And it's definitely cheaper than conventional. So if you are looking in those USD areas, definitely a great program to check out. Typically will have the best benefit. And next up is our non-QM option. So many other banks or lenders, if their customer does not qualify for one of the standard agency or government options that we just went over, they will have to deny that customer. That's where we love to come in with our 5,000 other options. And first up here is our non-QM alt doc for a primary home. And that would typically mean a bank statement program is probably the one that's the lowest rate option here, but we have all kinds of different options, P&L, 1099, asset related, all kinds of options. But we will compare here. Typically, we're going to compare a conventional option to this. So We're looking at for bank statement option 6.999 rate, final APR 7.344. So notice when we compare that to the conventional, if our customer doesn't quite qualify conventional and needs to use alternative docs, this option is within half a point of conventional. So great option for our customers that need to use it. And now we'll move on to our investment properties. So first up for investment properties is the non-QM option. Again, this would be a bank statement or similar option. For an investment property, rates come in at 7.5%, final APR 7.793. And now let's compare that to the other investment options. So we do have our agency option for conventional. So 30-year fixed conventional option for an investment property comes in at 7.58, final APR 7.855. So notice it's just a touch more expensive actually today than alt doc. These kind of flip-flop depending. Definitely recommend all of our investors check out our DSCR options, so our favorite options. And remember, government programs, FHA, USDA, VA are not eligible for investments. So our favorite option is our DSCR option. No income, no employment, no documentation on that needed. We simply use the estimated rents from the property to determine a DSCR value. As I mentioned before we started, we use a value of 1.5 for these demos. That means the property cash flows at a pretty high rate, so we can see all of the programs pop up. So the first option here is with a 3-year prepayment penalty, which is standard for these programs, coming in today at 7.249, final APR 7.599. So blowing conventional out of the water with our standard DSCR option, absolutely amazing. And when we add a 5-year prepayment penalty, a few programs allow that. The ones that do improve the rate a little bit, rates as low as 7%. And the final APR 7.329 for that option, which really blows conventional out of the water. And we'll scroll down to our last row here. Our final DSCR option with no prepayment penalty for investors that may not want that, no problem, but it does cost a little bit more. Rates for that, 7.875 today, final APR 8.244. So notice that's a little more expensive than conventional. So we usually recommend our investors add a prepayment penalty to sweeten the deal. And the final two examples here, definitely a cool new program, our 30-year fixed option for second mortgage. So this option today for a primary home would allow our homeowners that don't want to touch their probably low rate first mortgage to still get cash out and not have to use a HELOC option. So this today comes in at 9.625 rate, final APR 10.081. And our 40-year fixed DSCR option, for some reason our second mortgage investment option isn't popping up yet today. Probably still haven't had the rate sheet issued yet. So this option pops up. We'll go over it. 40-year fixed for a DSCR program with a 3-year prepay. A little bit more than the standard, but remember the payments will be lower. So this is a great option for our investors that want to improve their cash flow. Still some great rate options here, 7.625 rate. Final APR, scroll up a little bit, 7.929. So great options here, all kinds of different cool programs. But today's topic, we're going to check out some unique options we don't get to do in our live demo for our customers that may have lower credit score. So our live demo, we always put the high credit score, so that way all the options pop up. And it's unfortunately we aren't able to do all the cool options we have with various low credit scores. So Jose will go through all kinds of different options we have today. A lot of the agency and government options have low credit score options, but I'm sure he has some other tricks up his sleeve as well. So for our customers out there that may not have the best credit score, definitely recommend some strategies to improve it. But if they do have a situation where they need to still get a loan with a low credit score, Jose will go over some of our hopefully our lowest options. I'm guessing you're going to go for, Jose. You're going to hit the lowest option for each one, I'm assuming?
I'm going right to the core. Absolutely. So low FICO score, we're going through the whole continuum here, agency and non-QM. So this is going to be a pretty choice episode today. And this is really where you're going to see how we at the Mortgage Calculator can shine with our creative and outside the box solutions. So let's go ahead and share our low FICO score options for you today. So first, I'm going to hit you with the obvious ones. So our first option here is for an FHA purchase FHA guidelines do call for any transaction where the credit score is below 580 is going to be a maximum 90% LTV. However, we have options at the mortgage calculator where we can go all the way down to a 500 credit score and still be able to obtain DU findings. That's the key, right? We can go down to 500 at a 90%. If your file merits it, the automated underwriting, in this case, it will be DU, hopefully will give us the approved eligible. It's not an automatic that below 580, we have to go manual underwriting or anything like that. And that's a pretty big deal because, as you all know, when we go, or when a loan has to be submitted to manual underwriting for FHA rather than using automated underwriting, specifically DU, then the DTI drops. The total DTI on a manual underwriting deal is 43%, much lower than what you can obtain using DU. So definitely great option here, up to a 90% LTV, down to a 500 credit score for your FHA purchase. And here we got another amazing option, VA purchase, down to a 500 credit score at the full 100% LTV. And actually, I didn't give you the rates here. 8 point. I was so excited about the 500 on the FHA. 8.125 is our lowest cost option, 8% lowest rate option. For VA, we really only have one compliant price unless you have a deal where you're getting seller contribution, and then there are other rate options, because then the portion of the loan discount fee that is paid by the seller does not get counted towards the points and fees compliance test. So then you could obtain some lower rates. But 8.25 with a cost of 2.699 is our only compliant rate option without seller contribution. But that's not too shabby here, because we're talking 500 down to a 500 credit score, 100% LTV, VA purchase using automated underwriting. And then now we're at USDA 100% LTV, and that's a typo there. That should say 550 credit score. So please excuse the typo, but USDA, we can go down to a 550 credit score at 100% LTV. Our lowest cost option is 8.25%, and you can buy that down to 7.85%, which is not too shabby with a 550 credit score on a USDA loan and still 100% LTV. So now we jump into the non-QM world. So I have the examples, and this is just because of time constraints. So I'm going to the more restrictive options here, which would be investment property. And we're going to do purchases with a 3-year prepay. Now, in this scenario here, we are at a 600 credit score for an investment property bank statement purchase. And the best news is we can still go as high as 75% LTV with a 600 credit score with these creative outside the box solutions for our investors, which are also possible for our primary at a lower rate. But in this case here, for investment property purchase, 75% LTV with a 600 credit score, 11.499 is our lowest cost option, almost at par with a cost of 0.375 points. And a nice deep rate sheet here. You can buy that down all the way to 9.999. Don't forget that third 9. And our next option here, P&L, profit and loss purchase, 75% LTV, 600 credit score, 3-year prepay, same rate options, 11.499, lowest cost option, and you can buy that down to 9.999 For our profit and loss investment purchase with a 600 credit score, 75% LTV. That's amazing. And remember, what makes this so amazing is that the maximum LTV for most of these non-QM options is going to be 85%. That's the max for an investment property purchase. And here we're using P&L with a 600 credit score, and we're still able to attain 75% LTV. And now our 1099 investment purchase, also 75% LTV, 600 credit score. This is a great option. You know, our realtors out there with a 1099. We just structured another 1099 deal. They thought maybe they were going to go bank statements, but excuse me, 1099 goes up to 90% profit. So unless there are extenuating circumstances on a 1099 loan, you're only going to be hit with a 10% expense ratio reduction. So you can use 90% of that 1099 income, which is much better than bank statements. And again, 11.499 lowest cost option, 9.999 lowest rate option. And asset utilization, same criteria, 600 credit score, 75% LTV. Again, same rate option. So we got the amazing rate options at a 75 LTV for all of our non-QM alternative documentation income processes. 11.499 lowest cost option, 9.999 lowest rate option. And our last full doc or income option before I give you the last bits of DSCR, right? Save the best for last. Now here we are at full docs, right? So same scenario, 75% LTV, 600 credit score, 3-year prepay, investment property purchase. This time we're going full doc, and you do see a little bit better rate, right? The other one was 11.499 at 0.375 cost. This one is 11.125. So roughly 0.374 reduction in the rate for going full doc. Not much of a betterment there, but if you got the full doc file nice and clean, this is your option at a 600 credit score, 11.125 lowest rate option, 9.625, excuse me, 11.125 lowest cost option, 9.625 lowest rate option. So DSCR. So I'm going to give you a couple options. So here with a 620 credit score, which is very low for a DSCR, this is for a purchase, 3-year prepay. The great news is we can still attain 75% LTV. Now, remember, our maximum LTV for a DSCR is 85%. It's going to require much higher than a 620 credit score. And rates are actually going to be similar to this. But here we go, 620 credit score, 75% LTV. Look at that. 10.5% lowest cost option with a cost of 1.025 points. 9.375 lowest rate option at a cost of 3.275 points. Very good considering 620 credit score. Maximum for this option, 75% LTV. And now we're going to get really juicy here with our last two options. This is our absolutely lowest credit score that we can do for any non-QM loan, investment property that is not hard money, because hard money is really not non-QM, right? So here we're looking at 575. Yes, you heard me correct. 575 as our lowest credit score option. I'm pricing this one with a 3-year prepay. 65% LTV, and you're looking at 10.875 rate with 1 discount point. Now, this is a brokered option, so there is an additional broker fee that's not priced into the rate, 2.75 for this option here. 575 credit score, 65% LTV. Purchase. But now our last option, like they say, but wait, there's more. This is our last option here. Save the best for last. DSCR investment cash out refi. Also, and that's not a typo, also to a 65% LTV, just like the purchase, with a 575 score, 3-year prepay, 11.375. So 0.5% higher in the interest rate, same cost for this DSCR cash out, our absolutely lowest credit score option here, 65% LTV. And by the way, we are actually able to do the same option bank statement at this low LTV. So look out for the mortgage calculator for your agency loans and also all of your creative financing outside the box solutions for all of your investment and primary property needs.
All right. Thank you, Jose. I actually don't see any questions, but that was a great topic here for today. So, no. Don't. Oh, looks like we got a question that just came in. We can pull this one up. Can you disclose which lender you used for the DSCR investment option?
We will put that information in the chat as soon as we get off this show. Be on the lookout, and we'll upload a couple videos as well.
All right. Okay, I don't see any other questions, so we can go ahead and wrap it up. Remember, 11 a.m. Eastern, we do this every weekday where we go through the live rates and then do a deep dive into a different topic. You got something else, Jose?
No, I just want to remind everybody that for most of these options, unless it's a broker deal, we are the lender at the mortgage calculator.
Yeah, I believe you only showed a couple brokered deals, right? Where that would be applicable.
Yeah, the only ones that were brokered were the 575 credit score option.
Right. Okay. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in, and we'll be back tomorrow with a new topic. So thank you. We will see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, for the next episode of Daily Rates Live with the Mortgage